Hello, thank you for joining us today. This is Mrs. Brinston from Romulus High School. I teach health occupation in room 702. So you're receiving this YouTube video because you have shown interest in participating in our student organization. I will let you know this is the first year that HOSA is allowing students that are not in the health oc program to participate. So with that said, I want to let you know that we are still kind of working out the logistics and seeing how this is going to work. But you received this text message from our president and some of our officers, and so I'm just going to go over it quickly for you. And so just real quick, the mission of HOSA is to empower HOSA future healthcare professionals. So I'm assuming because you want to participate in this particular organization that you are interested in pursuing a medical career. So that is pretty much one of the requirements that I am going to bestow on you guys. So you need to be interested in pursuing a medical career. So for example, if you want to go x-ray tech, a veterinarian, or a nurse, or a doctor, and if you have any question, if your desires does not meet the requirements, please come and speak with me directly. So that is one of the requirements. And so it is an amazing organization. I'm sure that when you speak with some of the officers, they say that it's an amazing organization and we have lots of fun. So I'm just going to kind of go over a few things. There are some important dates that you must remember and just kind of make note of. So for example, Saturday, this past Saturday, we were supposed to have a Zoom conference. So this is taking the place of that Zoom conference that was supposed to take place on Saturday. So HOSA week, and that's going to be, my officers are going to be doing an awareness on a specific topic. And so we want you to be involved in that. So it's going to be on trafficking and human trafficking. And so look for information regarding HOSA week, which is November the 5th through the 11th. And so this is our service learning project. And so part of you participating in HOSA, our regionals, and becoming a member is actually participating in HOSA week. So look for more information pertaining to that. So on Monday, November the 6th, this is an important day. In order for you to participate in regional competition, it is a $50 charge. And so that $50 will take care of your membership with HOSA, because HOSA is a student organization that you actually have to pay a membership. That membership fee is $25, and the fee in order for you to participate in the regional competition is $25. And so that's why it's a total of $50. So in order for you to participate and use HOSA on your resumes and say that you are a member of a student organization, you need to pay a membership fee, okay? And then your first competition that you will be able to participate is going to be our regional conference. Our regional conference is not on this sheet, but let me just let you know, it's December the 2nd. December the 2nd. It is a Saturday, and it's going to be at Romulus High School. This is our first year in many years that we've hosted the regional conference. We're expecting over 800 students to participate in this conference on December the 2nd. So make sure that you make note of that day, because that is where the regional conference, the competition, will take place. Now, the top 10 winners in all the categories at that regional conference will be able to advance to states, and I'll provide you with that date later on, at a later date. And the top 3 competitors who win at states will advance to nationals, and then we will go to nationals and compete. So what I would like for you to do is just kind of watch this. I'm going to go to michiganhosa.org. michiganhosa.org is the site that basically you should go to find out information about the competitive events. So if you go to the student section, as you see, that's where I'm at now. and it says competitive event guidelines. So you have a variety of events that you can pick from. And so they are broken up into different categories. And so what I would like for you to do is basically listen to my presentation, and then you are going to kind of decide your top two. Or you can probably decide what event you're going to do. And so if you have any questions on those specific events, you're going to go to this website, which is michiganhosa.org, and you're going to look up the event, and then you're going to make a decision. So I need to know what event you're going to be participating in by the time your HOSA dues are due. So for example, if you look here, your $50 is due Monday, November the 6th. That is when I'm going to be registering you for your event. And so I need to know your event by that date. That's the drop dead date. So if you have any questions for me, which is next Monday. So if you have any questions for me regarding your event, then this week will be the week for you to do that. All right. So let me see if I can go back to this Michigan HOSA. All right, so as you see, there are many, many events that you can pick from. So we'll go over them section by section. So the health science events, as you see, these are all the health science events, and they are basically tests. So for example, if you know that you want to go into dentistry, or if you know you like math or you like spelling, then these are the events that you may want to learn more about. For example, if you, KT stands for knowledge test. So these are basic topics that you would have to study. And once you study the topics, you will attend the event and take a test. And so as you see, these are the topics. So 25% of the questions will come from the mind in this particular section, and 25% will come from physiology and behavior. So all you basically do is study, follow the guidelines. And like I said, this link of all of the different events takes you to the guidelines. You study the guidelines, and then you attend regional competition on December the 2nd, and you take a test, okay? So these are test events. This next category is health professional events. So these are events that are specifically related to a health profession. For example, there is a clinical nursing event. There is a dental science event. There's medical assistant. And so basically what you would do is you would select that particular event, follow the guidelines, and you would, on the day of the actual event, you would perform that skill. Now, with these events, any of these events, there's part 1 to these events, and there's also part 2. Part 1 is a written test, and part 2 is an actual skill. Part 1 is an actual event, and part 2 is a specific skill. So, on the actual guidelines, and I'll connect to that, the guidelines tells you that these are the sections that you will need to study. Now, I will help you and provide you resources so that you can prepare for your event. And then round 2 is the actual skills. And these are some of the skills. Now, as you see that there's several skills, let's see, there's 6 different skills that they have available. But for regionals, you only have to perform 2. I have the list of skills that you have to take. I don't have my sheet directly in front of me. For example, for regionals, I'll tell you that you have to do skill 1, and you also have to do skill 2. And so then you will get the guidelines, and you will only prepare for those particular skills. But I will let you know after you let me know the event that you want to sign up with. All right. So just to recap, the health professional events is a written test for round 1, and it's also a specific skill that you have to do. So for example, and let me give you an example of how that would look. So say, for instance, if you have to do nursing assistant, and 2 of the skills that you would have to do is hand washing and maybe taking a temperature or a blood pressure. And so you would go into a room where it's just you and your judge, and you would provide your demonstration of you performing that skill. And then they will grade you. Now, what's so amazing about the way that they have this set up, that you know exactly how to prepare for it, because in your guidelines, they give you these grading sheets. So this grading sheet is given to you and also the judge. And this is like the checklist of if you remove your rings and push your watch up above your wrist and you did a good job of it, then you get a 1. So these grading sheets are very, very specific. So when you practice using these grade sheets. Okay, so it's very simple. So you get a grade sheet, the guidelines, you follow the grade sheets, you study the content for the test, and you practice the skills exactly how they have them on that grade sheet. And then you perform your procedure, and then top 10 goes to states, and it's that easy. All right, the next category is emergency preparedness events. These are mostly events that are 2 or 3 people members. And so, for example, CERT skills, look over that, or CPR and first aid. And because that's more familiar with everybody, let me kind of go over that. So say, for instance, you have the guidelines, you see the purpose and the description. This is also a round 1, which means it's a written test. You and your partner has to take a test, and then you perform a skill. And so it would be 2 skills from this particular section and 2 skills for that. And once you decide if this is the event that you want to do, I'll let you know what the skills you have to do. So let me give you an idea of what to expect. They're going to give you a scenario. So you walk in the room and they give you a scenario, and the scenario will say, this is just an example. I have no idea what they're going to say, but this is an example of a scenario. They're going to say, okay, you and your partner just rode on a scene, and there's a car accident, and there's 2 victims. There's a child and an adult. One is unconscious and one is bleeding. And so you and your partner would go on the scene following the guidelines and do step-by-step what to do. So one of you may do the CPR and one of you may tend to the one that needs the first aid. And so that's basically how it is. Another thing is leadership events, another category. And so these events, extemporaneous means not prepared. So that means that you go into the room the day of, they give you the poster title, and then you go and you draw the poster out. Or extemporaneous writing. They give you the subject and the day of the event, and then you actually write the paper the day of the event. Health career photography. This is these 3 are all individual events. Oh, actually, this entire one is all individual events. They're not a team event. And so with healthcare photographer, you would write, you would take pictures and actually display them. And it's health related preferred, the subject matter that you would have to do your pictures on. If there's a star, these stars are dealing with people who have an IEP. So if you have an IEP, a plan, and then you can participate in these starred items. But if you do not, then you cannot participate in these starred items, okay? Job seeking skills and interview skills are pretty much the same. You would fill out an application, you would submit a resume, and a cover letter, and then you go and have a job interview. Prepared speaking, they'll give you a subject matter, and you would actually prepare a speech and actually perform your speech in front of your judges, okay? All right, I'm trying to look and see what those 2 stars mean. And I'll look at that in just a second. Anyway, all right. So research persuasive writing and speaking, and that's exactly what it is. You're going to research a subject ahead of time, and then you're going to write something on it, and you're going to speak about it. So these are leadership events. Go ahead and look through that. There's no tests connected to these events. There are just one round of events that's pertaining to that particular event. Teamwork events. Again, these are teams of 2 or more. Biomedical debate, community awareness, forensic medicine, healthcare display. This is a really cool event where you would create, research a career, and then you would actually do a display. Medical innovation. I want you to kind of look that up if you're interested in that. And so this event is really interesting. So it's a variety of events. It's not very specific. HOSA Bowl, so it's like a group of, I think it's like 5 or 6, and then they would ask you questions pertaining to HOSA. So really fun events, a group event type of setting. Now, recognition events, don't worry about those. Those are only state-only events. All right. So when I was referring to being in a special ed situation where it's only if it's a 1 star, so if it has like a star, must be classified under the provision for individual with the Disability Education Act. So if you don't have an IEP, you can't participate in the starred items. If it's 2-star, the event includes middle school division. So you guys don't have to worry yourself with that. All right. All right. So what I want, just kind of a recap, what I want you to do is first go through each section and just kind of, as we've gone over this, what do you think? Like, oh man, I think I want to take pictures, or, oh yes, I definitely want to do nursing, or I want to do veterinarian, or whatever. So whatever kind of draws your attention, no more than 1 per event, 1 per section, and then explore that section a little bit more, and then come down to like 1, because you can only do 1 event. So if you want a little bit more information, let me have you go to here. It's called MichiganHOSA.org. I can't get to it here, but MichiganHOSA.org. And when you go, when it comes up, and you see this little icon here for YouTube, if you select that, and then once you get into this section, you can extend it out a little bit further. And as you see, it extends out a lot further so that you can get an overview of what that event looks like. And so let me show you one so you can see.
Hey, I'm Mark Burley. And I'm Alan Siegler. Alan, I think one of the greatest events that HOSA has to offer is the HOSA Bowl event. Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, Mark. So what's really cool about HOSA Bowl is this is one of the few events that we offer where students get to come in and watch the final rounds of HOSA Bowl. And the way this works is it starts off with a written test. It's a team of 3 to 4 people.
Yep. They take those written tests. It's 50 multiple choice. If you score high enough on that test, you then qualify to the next round. But also what happens is those teams that score the highest are actually seeded the highest, and they have the greatest opportunity to get all the way to the finals.
Okay. So that's just kind of an overview of when you go to the MichiganHOSA.org and look at the YouTube link, it kind of gives more of an overview of that event. So hopefully it will answer some of your questions, and hopefully you got a better understanding. So the first thing you need to do, the very first thing you need to do is figure out what event you want to do. If you have any questions, then make sure that you come and speak with me. I'm in room 702 across from Culinary Arts. You can talk to me sometime this week, or you can talk to me, or you can talk to Mrs. Mack, and we'll try to answer your questions or try to guide you to the event. Let us know as soon as possible the event you want to go to. You can also come and pick up a permission slip and more information so that you can give to your parents, and so that they'll have exactly what you're writing the check for. And they can write the check to Romulus Community Schools, or we prefer like a money order so that we can go ahead and submit that. Really? So Anyway, that is it. If you have any questions, please, like I said, come by and see me, or you can talk to Mackenzie or Lauren or any of the HOSA officers, at your earliest convenience. So hopefully you were able to learn something, and I look forward to working with you with HOSA. All right. Have a wonderful day.